episode of the Good podcast, and I don't know how that ended. We were
on time for the
disclosure.
Coach K and
Disclosure.
No,
Here we're in Chicago for the College Basketball Hall of Fame, and we just sat there, and we got Dauster got the. So Hummel didn't shine, but he did an opportunity after you to say
Hold
Coach
on, because Tay was not on
know
time.
Who you were?
Hold
That's
on.
the biggest question.
We'll get to that.
I don't think.
What time did you tell me to get here?
10:45.
Yes. What time was the interview supposed to be at?
11:30.
Correct. What time did your dumbass text me this morning?
10:29.
The interview was starting at what time?
10:30.
So how was I supposed to? I
can't
live
get here in a
20
minute?
minutes north of here.
Always be early.
Right.
Always
the
really
interview was
early.
at 11:30.
No, really early.
But the funny thing is that Dauster had told me I'm going to get there at 10:45. Yet somehow the three of you idiots, sorry Trevor, you're not an idiot. The two of you idiots somehow were here and able to do the interview at 10:30.
Did you think that maybe this was all part of our plan?
Maybe, but I might not come back tonight. There's going to be a break in between now and whatever tonight is, and I just might not show up.
He's not upset at all.
It's actually part of your contract that you have to show up.
I don't have a contract. I am literally working on a
You're at
podcast to podcast basis, and I might not come back. I really might not.
How many times have you heard that threat now?
Oh, so many times. So many times.
One of these days, I'm going to make good on it. And I don't know if Coach K knew what he was very nice in the hallway. We talked for, I would say, 45 seconds. And
Did he think you were from California or no?
That was in 2005 when he thought that. I don't know what he thought, but he
what
was.
was the story again of Coach K and you in California?
Well, I'd been.
You went down for.
I was visiting NC State and UNC Charlotte, who I had offers from, but I was getting mail. Like handwritten by Chris Collins.
Rob doesn't know that everybody got mail.
Not handwritten stuff from Chris Collins, the assistant coach.
He's
so
right.
they were legitimate. If it was like mail outs.
You sure it was your name and it wasn't addressed to Scott Martin?
Look at this hater right here. This dude is being the biggest hater. Plus, we played against Kyle Singler at least 7 times in the summer, so he had seen me play.
Okay.
But I was getting mail outs that were handwritten from Coach Collins. So we set it up. They were scrimmaging as a inter-squad scrimmage, and Coach Collins was like, yeah, come on by. One with my parents. Coach K came by after the scrimmage and said, Robbie, thank you so much for coming all the way from California. To which my mom was like, no, Coach, we're from Indiana. As if,
It mattered.
Right.
Who did he confuse you with? That's my question.
I don't know. That is a good question.
You do kind of have a California vibe about you.
Well, yeah.
Who's another 6'8" white kid who couldn't
I'm trying to.
Taylor King.
Well,
Taylor
but
King could be. Maybe it was.
No,
was
he
your
could.
year?
Taylor King was so big time.
Was he your year?
Yeah. He would play for the Southern California
I think we
All-Stars.
figured it
Yeah,
out.
I think you're.
He wouldn't know who Taylor King is. That
He's
dude went to
lefty.
ABCD campus as an 8th grader.
Right.
He would have known Taylor King.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't Taylor King tatted
blonde
up?
6'8"?
Like, you have sleeve tats that we don't know about now?
Yeah, I got tatted. I have no tats. I don't think it could have been Taylor King. He was too big of a name. I don't know. I don't know who he thought I was, but he thought I was from Cali.
All right. While we got some time here.
Yeah, I got my parking meter's going to fade off. Let's make it used for Purdue.
You can invoice me that.
Yeah, I will.
So
$8, I think.
we're working on the almanac right now, and
Who
I
cares?
actually just wrote Purdue. I wrote the Purdue preview. So great timing. Wrote it yesterday, and the Boilermaker, your Boilermakers, added some athleticism, a little more shooting, little guard play with Lance Jones, the Southern Illinois transfer, to take some pressure off of Braden Smith. How much do you think this Purdue team now is suited to being able to go deeper in the tournament than it was? Because, I love Paint. We all love Paint. He takes complete accountability for kind of their shortcomings recently in the NCAA tournament, losing FDU, losing to St. Peter's, and he knew he needed to do something different. Kaufman, Rand is going to play a lot more this year.
I think they'll play him at the 4.
Yes,
alongside
he's going to play with Edey a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Jones is going to play a lot. Obviously, those freshman guards are a year older. Again, I get back to it. How different is this team? Different enough to be able to
This is the
make
longest
a run?
question in the history of the podcast,
Yeah.
I think. I think, yes, I think so. And I think you have to always start with Edey. I mean, this dude is an absolute monster. He's the player of the year. The way he dominates games, the way he rebounds the basketball, the fact that he can get you a bucket whenever, it starts with him. They're going to need to make threes because he's going to see double teams like he saw against Fairleigh Dickinson. But you mentioned Lance Jones. That's a dude that could come in and guard the basketball and drive it and make open shots. You hope that those freshman guards you mentioned, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, are a year older and take that jump from freshmen to sophomores. It looked like Braden Smith did that in their overseas trip. I don't know how good the competition was. Probably not the best, but still good to see him play well. Miles Colvin is super, super athletic. Dad's Roosevelt Colvin. He's like a Jaden Ivey type athlete. I'm not saying that he's going to be as good as Jaden Ivey, but he has that level of verticality. I think Cam Heide, a kid that was a redshirt last year, is a really athletic 6'7" wing. So you've got some more athleticism. I think the shot making has the potential to improve. And if they do that around Edey, I mean, they've got a bunch of really good players.
A lot of good
them.
players.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
up and down the roster,
I think
they're
more than
loaded.
I think more than anything else, it was, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it felt like that was kind of a mental thing with FDU by the end, right? They knew that it was a bad matchup. They felt that pressure, and it felt like the guards were – you could see it in them, right?
It
You
was
could see they were
confidence.
shook. You
No,
could see
it
that
looked
they were
like it was
shook.
like watching a slow motion car crash.
Yes.
From the end of the first half through the end of the
It
game.
wasn't even towards the end of the year. I think it started to get in their head when they couldn't make shots,
Yeah,
right?
but
and then you
do
get
you know what-
tight.
You're
You know what that
talking
was
about,
similar to?
but you're talking about the Big Ten tournament champions.
Yeah, I mean,
The end of the year, they won the Big Ten tournament.
Well,
I
they
mean,
went through a stretch, right?
no,
Towards
and
the end.
I hear you, but the matchup was bad. But I think, and I've heard Coach Painter talk about this a lot, the recipe has been the same in these NCAA tournament losses. Bad three-point shooting, turning it over, not capitalizing on the glass against smaller teams, and they're just loading up on Purdue's bigs. And when you do those things and you turn it over, you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, like in the St. Peter's game, the way that Carolina then obliterated them on the glass, you ask the question, well, how did Purdue not do that? They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Is it mental for them at this point? There's 3 not great losses in a row in the NCAA tournament. The crazy thing for Purdue this year is going to be, regardless of what happens in the regular season, if they're the Big Ten champs, if they're the Big Ten tournament champs, it's all going to be about the NCAA tournament, and they're going to have really strong leadership in that locker room to alleviate pressure, but also take that next step. And the sad thing is that if they got to the Elite Eight, I bet Purdue fans would look at that as this is a disappointing season, which that's a pretty high bar.
That's crazy to think. But it reminds me so much of Virginia in 2019, the only other team to
hope
lose
so.
to a 16 seed. But look at what happened to Virginia heading into that loss to the 16 seed, right? Remember the collapse against Syracuse in the Elite Eight. They blew a 15-point lead. They got beat by Michigan State in the Sweet 16 in New York 2 years before that, right? They had a bunch of those upsets and disappointing losses. They were a 7 seed. They lost to Michigan State. A 2 seed, they lost to 7 seed Michigan State in the second round in 2015. And once they finally got over that hump, once they got past Gardner-Webb in the first. Remember, they were down 14 to Gardner-Webb in the first round that next year.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
once they got past that and they kind of figured it out, they were able to make their run. And when you have the Big Ten regular season champion and the Big Ten tournament champion that is returning the National Player of the Year with a backcourt of freshmen that are becoming sophomores that made the additions that you probably needed to make, I don't know how you can look at that team and say they're anything other than a top 3 team in America.
I agree.
And I
Are
think you
they?
can make,
All right,
I think
so
they're
here's
closer
my
to
question.
Kansas than they are.
I'm
to
giving
Kansas
you.
number
I'm
3.
giving you a choice: Michigan State or Purdue.
I'd go Purdue.
Purdue.
Purdue
No
was the better
question.
team last year.
They're the same teams.
Michigan
Everybody
State
brings
had some
everybody
talent.
back.
I mean,
they're not the
Jeremy
same
Fears
teams.
is
Jaden Akins is
talented.
healthy. He's healthy now.
Yeah,
They've got a
I
really
like Michigan
good
State,
freshman
but
class.
Why would we go against the
team
Big
that was
Ten?
dominant?
Yeah,
Michigan State
they,
lost
they
13
easily won the
games
Big Ten
last
last year.
Michigan State, they lost 13 games last year.
And I like Michigan State's team.
Yeah, they're
Their
good.
guards are dynamic. They've got good players.
Again, I think Michigan State's closed the gap.
Who does
I'll
Michigan
say
State
that.
guard Zach Edey with? Is it Monty Sissoko? Is it Xavier
It's
Booker?
got to be. No, it's not Booker.
Well,
Booker would get eaten.
Okay,
up.
well,
I mean,
that's the
Booker's
national
not
player of
even
the year.
ready to guard you
look,
right
Look
now.
at Edey's stats from last year against Michigan State.
Dominant.
He destroyed them.
And he will. He will keep. But you give him his 30. You're going to have to give him his 30.
Yeah. Give him his 30.
And
they did last year,
and hope
too.
they don't make
And
shots
they
in
got
the perimeter
They
again.
got smacked twice.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a great matchup. I'm just saying in the tournament, having veteran guards.
No, and I really like Tyson Walker.
Oh, he's
and
awesome.
A.J. Hogarth, when he's good, is really
Well, that's
good.
the
But at
it's
this point, Braden
it's not
Smith
up
and
down.
Fletcher Lawyer are veterans.
Yeah, they're better.
They started
they're
for
better.
an
And
entire
again,
season
my biggest
for a top
thing
five
is
team.
like
they won 2 titles.
Braden Smith just looks so rattled at times towards the end of the year, and I think again, listen. The other thing is he didn't have a preseason last year. Really, he was hurt. He really he
Lawyer was banged
he
up
had so
during the year,
much.
too.
Yeah, he had the calf injury. So I'm in agreement with you. I think Purdue's the better regular season team. I just wonder if Michigan State's more built, to go deeper in the tournament. That's all.
We'll see.
Can I give you a team that is getting nowhere near enough attention nationally? Nowhere near enough respect?
Go ahead. It's got to be somebody he talked to for the Almanac.
No, it's Marquette. Nobody is talking enough about Marquette.
Yeah, I just sat down with Kolick.
They won the Big East regular season title by 2 games. They won the Big East tournament title, right? They lost in the second round of the tournament in part because your boy Tyler Kolick got hurt in that game, right? They bring 8 of their 9 rotation players back.
The one guy they lose is Omax Prosper.
Yeah, they lose Omax, which is a big loss, but they have guys that are ready to step up and play that role. They're going to play a little bit differently. They bring back the Big East Player of the Year, your boy Tyler Kolick.
Yeah.
Oso Agudaro, remember that name. He's a stud.
Yeah.
No one's talking about them. They're a top 5 team, no question to me.
Yeah, no, again, I don't know where I have them ranked, but they're in that mix, certainly, that has a chance to, there's like 10 teams, I think. Generally, you got 8, 10 teams that are at a different level, and then you could throw everybody in a hat from, 11 to 40 for the most part. Who else is kind of – well, give me your biggest storyline. Give me kind of going into the year right now, what's the biggest thing you're looking forward to? Not let's forget realignment and that bullshit, but like give me something on the court. Give me something.
Before we get there, can I just, in regards to Marquette, it's amazing to me that for Shaka Smart, it was like he was treading water at Texas, and he's getting these players that are uber talented, 5-star talent, especially the bigs. But then he goes to Marquette, and it's a job that probably fits him a little bit better.
Yes.
He can coach the style more so that he wants to coach, whereas at Texas, I don't think he felt like he could do that with the guys he was getting. And in what's he been there, 3 years? This is 3rd year now?
This is his 3rd year.
And he's got a team like that. Like that
Momentum,
shows just how important fit and momentum really is.
Last 2 off seasons, no Division I transfers that they brought in. It's the continuity. It is trusting the recruits that you've brought in. It is all that stuff. Clark Kellogg just walked by.
Clark Kellogg,
that's why
one of the
waiting.
nicest
Clark
human
is
beings
the
of
man.
all
That's
time.
why they're
He's
waiting.
the man. Yeah,
He is the
Clark's
man.
the guy.
He is the man. We're here in Chicago. College basketball Hall of Fame inductions tonight. Coach K, Tyler Hansborough. I wonder who would win.
I'm never going to forgive you.
Who
guys.
would win who do you think would win a pickleball match between Hummel and Hansborough?
Hansborough. He plays way more than
I mean, he's like pro. His
I
aspirations
did a
are
little bit
going
of film
pro.
study on
Yeah.
Hansborough's pickleball game.
I bet you his backhand sucks at ping pong. So I bet
He said his backhand is his weakness in pickleball too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But he is.
You ever played singles? Have you played singles?
With my dad. My dad just drives me.
Runs you all over the place, or
He played college tennis. Yes.
so
We played last week.
So you can't run your dad. Your
Dude,
dad's
you should see him hit these ground strokes.
really
Yes.
kills him.
He's like Pete Sampras out there.
You can't return him.
Well, I mean, he just runs me from side to side. It's not even fun.
That's what I would do.
Jeff, you are not good
That's
at
what I would
sports.
do. There's a
You are good at
pickleball
talking
court.
about sports.
There's
Hummel.
a pickleball court right
I could
there.
go down there in this outfit and kick your ass at pickleball
Hummel, you know what's
today.
funny? You know what's funny? Goodman has told us that he is the best pickleball player in the world.
No,
He's
I've
told
not
us
said that.
he can
I've played
still,
like 5 times.
He told us he can still dunk a basketball.
No, he can't.
Clearly not
I have
true.
not said I
he
can
also
still.
told us that he could throw a football 65 yards. Clearly not true. Like
This
he,
dude
in
is
Goodman's
like
mind,
this
he
dude-
is
30
Michael
years
Vick.
ago.
This dude is
He's
the
Michael
Kim
Vick.
Jong-il of basketball media.
30
He is making
years
this
ago,
stuff
not
up,
now.
and it is unbelievable to hear.
We're going to get out there and play pickleball. You've got a big.
I've got a
something
meeting
to do.
that I
know you got a big meeting.
rescheduled a meeting for the Coach K interview, and I didn't.
What's
even,
the meeting, Rob?
It's a wedding venue.
Wedding venue. I can't believe Logan is trusting you with anything to do with
She's
this
going with me.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
like, I'm going
you're
along.
really going to have no say in any of
No,
this,
but
right?
that's fine. The decisions
You're just
are up
along
to
for
her.
the ride.
I'm just there to
Moral support.
witness. Yes, a second opinion.
Will you have any, like, honestly, has she given you anything that is yours, your decision to make within the wedding? Any, like, one thing?
No, but
You get nothing.
What? I don't want anything. I want it to be what she wants.
I don't want anything.
I don't care
I
what. it
can't
is.
wait till we play that. I don't want anything.
I was going to invite you guys, but since you basically tricked me into missing the Coach
Hummel,
K.
do this.
What's the date?
Here's what you got to do. You got to
I don't
invite. You got to
You
invite.
don't know the
Goodman,
date?
tell him
We
the
got to get a
wedding-
venue first before you give a date.
Tell him the wedding starts at 8 and have the
Yeah.
wedding actually at 6.
Yeah, there you go. That would be an equal.
We're doing a show, pregame, pre-wedding show.
Hammurabi's code would be in effect there, eye for an eye for that.
Pre-wedding show.
No, I'm not doing that. I don't even know if I'm going to come back tonight. So why would
You're coming. You're.
I don't
you're
think I'm
definitely-
going to. I might just not show up.
Well, you got the suit on. Why
Right,
not?
right.
Take
You
it
look
off
the
in
part.
2 seconds.
You look the part. We're gonna play pickleball. Then we'll come back.
This is
over.
definitely the nicest you've ever dressed for a Goodman and Hummel podcast.
For sure. I
fake.
usually wear a sweatshirt and a basketball shirt.
And
I don't
the hat.
respect him enough to wear something like this.
Nobody
This
does.
is for Coach K.
All right,
and others.
get back to my question. My question was the biggest, the thing you're looking forward to most this year in college basketball is what?
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/good. That's linkedin.com/GOOD to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. I don't know.
Is there something that stands out? I mean, for me, there's a lot of things, but
I got one. The biggest thing for me is that when you look at like the top, I want to say probably the top 7 teams in America, they are as good as I can remember them being, probably dating back to 2015, right? The year when
Because of
Kentucky-
COVID?
Yeah, because of the COVID years, because NIL is bringing all of these big guys back. We have Zach Edey coming back to school. You have Donovan Clingan coming back to school. You have Kyle Filipowski and Tyrese Proctor coming back to Duke. You have Marquette bringing everybody back. You have Michigan State bringing everybody back. There are so many really, really good, really, really old teams in the sport that
but no dominant team. Like I have Kansas.
But that's
number
because
1.
that's because all of these teams are. There's no difference. What's the difference between Kansas at number 1 and let's just say UConn at number 7? Right?
A lot.
It's not that much.
A lot. I think
UConn,
it's
that
the UConn
much.
homerism here is
Yeah, I
so
think it's
high.
a good amount. I think Kansas just has known quantities.
Do you
where
worry about
UConn doesn't
Kansas
have a lot
shooting,
of
though?
Yes.
Yes.
I worry about that, especially if you're going to play
That was
KJ.
impressive.
And I like KJ Adams, and I thought what he did at the 5 last year was really good for that team. But if you're going to play him with Hunter Dickinson, boy, that floor is going to shrink.
Well, Hunter shot like 41 from 3 last
on
year.
really low volume. He
Yeah,
wasn't-
no,
I mean, he
but
was
he'll.
taking
Again,
1 or
he
2.
can't. He at least can.
So are you saying they'll play more of Hunter at like the 4 and also post
No, they're
him?
gonna they're gonna run.
I mean,
pick
he'll
and pop
step
stuff.
out.
No, I
Yeah, pick and
understand
pop
that,
stuff.
but that's Hunter Dickinson. Not that he
like
can
you'll have
make
KJ
those.
at the high post a lot
So you're thinking it's like the old school Bill Self, Jeff Withey, and Thomas Robinson
when they're out
below.
there together.
Yeah.
When they're out
Here's
there.
the other problem there. the other problem is they only have 3 big guys, and the other big guy was a walk-on at Missouri.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Parker Braun is not.
No, he's going to play a role. He'll play a role. I mean, but again, yes, getting back to the shooting, absolutely, because when Hunter Dickinson, now they picked up the international kid late, who they think can really, really help them. But he's a freshman.
He's probably a year away from being what you want him to
Well,
be.
you never know, because like Svi came in and he struggled there.
But Svi came in at 16. Johnny Furphy's already 18. He'll be 19 by the time the season starts.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is he's going to
he
have to
weighs
make shots.
185 pounds. That's the problem with Johnny Furphy.
But if he makes shots, who cares if he
he's
defends?
not a.
Who cares if he can't rebound, defend?
Doesn't
or play?
matter. He's got to make shots.
I will say I am really looking forward to the game at Illinois on October 30th.
You gonna be there?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, I'll be there. I would assume that they're going to pack Assembly Hall.
Oh, I would think.
That would be sweet.
For Bill Self coming back?
Totally. And the number 1 team in the country.
Right.
It's like,
Producer Trevor's upset that
Trevor's
he's
a
got to pay
Illinois guy.
$300 for a ticket. Can you help him get in?
I'll see. I'll see what I can do. Flex my muscles at the University of Illinois.
He was the one yelling, start, K, let's go. Forget Hummel.
I doubt that because the word was that you were like yelling at him as he was setting up. Is that true? Is that true, Trevor?
Yes.
There were no profanities.
What kind of boss are you?
You guys can't hear Trevor,
Hey,
but he just confirmed it.
You
gotta
gave
be
this
tough.
guy 15 minutes to set up all of his equipment.
Tough love, man.
Tough love.
Tough love. It makes it better.
What a shitty
It's only
father
going to
you
make
must
it
have
better in the long
Oh,
run.
my
It's like
God.
I'm like Jim Calhoun over here.
Did he get it done? Did he get the job
He got
done?
it done.
He did because
It's
he's
all
good
be-
at his job.
It's all because Goodman was
Not
cussing
because
him out
Jeff
the whole
is an
time.
asshole. That's not why.
What else? What are the other, Dauster, what are you looking forward to?
I told you it's how good the
What
top
else?
of college basketball.
What else?
is
That's
this year.
boring.
I got one that's a little bit off the radar for you. I'm very fascinated to see what UCLA is going to be this season
Because you can't name more than 2 players in
no,
their team.
they brought in 3 really really good high level European players and
Jan
I'm going to
Vide
try to not butcher these names. Jan Vide, Ade Mara, and Berke Buchtenschel.
Nice.
That's
Good
how
luck
you say
with
his
that.
last name. It's
Nice job.
Buchtenschel. Look it up. It's Buchtenschel.
You've never gotten an international name right.
I just nailed 3 of them.
No chance.
But those 3 guys are all potential NBA draft picks in the 2024 draft.
We'll see.
And I want to see what happens when we know how hard it is to build a team around one-and-done freshmen right now. Like we're seeing that with Kentucky in the last couple of years. Who knows what we're going to see out of Kentucky this year. But we haven't – Coach K talked about this in the interview we did. You don't know about that, Robbie. You weren't –
He was standing out there.
All right, I quit.
yeah, but it's becoming something where with the proliferation of NIL, you can go and get these. That was a good word, right? You can get these.
Can we make him
these
say proliferation again?
proliferation? It's a good word.
Yes, it is.
Proliferation of
Do you know what
Buchtenschels.
that means?
No, I
Could
don't.
you
I
spell
just,
it?
I just threw it out there. But you're able to get some of these foreign kids coming in, and I'm very curious to see if it will be a trend of trying to build recruiting classes out of 18 and 19-year-old.
I think he's just trying to keep up with Tommy Lloyd.
Maybe.
International guys. It's baffling.
Maybe.
Hold
All
on,
right.
I'm going to interrupt right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my 2 times of being on the Field of 68's podcasts that are like live like this.
Yeah, what
we
was the other one?
have the Bob Huggins expulsion. Remember what you did to me in New? What were we?
Oh,
at?
we kicked you
Hugston.
off.
Yes, where you went.
Huggins.
I might never come back to a live show. Why do I even do this podcast? That's one, and then the Coach K thing is 2.
We'll
he
give you
really,
another
he really
chance.
went over there and did this.
Give you another
He
chance.
literally yanked me like I was, like pitching and
Like
go to the right hand.
Like doing when he didn't guard.
Please,
Same
I
shit.
played as much as I wanted.
All right. Rob mentioned it. I do want to have a quick conversation about Kentucky because they're kind
Before
of
you get into that, do you remember when Painter was on something we did? I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about and I'm doing air quotes here, the worst fucking shot in the history of basketball. Do you remember the shot?
Xavier.
Yeah, you remember the shot?
I thought about it when I was there for the TBT a couple weeks ago. I just went ISO.
He pulled up
I
from
went
like
straight
27 feet.
ISO, dribbled for like 10 seconds. No one was open. I was like, well, it's my
have a
time.
lunch.
I found the video.
my
I
time.
shot an air ball. I found it on Synergy. It's a
did.
terrible shot.
Yeah, he tried to cross somebody over 3 times, got nowhere, let it go from 20.
This
Thought
was
he was
post
gonna play
ACL.
grudge?
I was not moving as well. I was not moving as well in December as I was hoping.
You thought you had it.
But yeah, I was like, I'll just pull.
See what I can do.
How'd it feel when you let it go?
Probably not good. You can tell when you're short like that, you're like, dude, that needs to get legs. That needs to get some legs to get to the rim.
All right, Kentucky. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I'm not
Have
sure
you?
this thing's going to work.
No wonder
Have
Cal
you?
wouldn't come
Yeah.
on the show.
I'm just not sure because again, now I think they were saved by Trey Mitchell and the fact that Antonio Reeves couldn't go anywhere. Otherwise, he'd be, it would have been the portal. But I'm concerned about the heavy youth movement of this team and the fact that I know they shot it well overseas. Here's my question to you, Rob. This is actually a great question to ask you. On those overseas trips, if you shoot it well, does that mean you're a good shooting? Like,
Well, no,
it's
because
awful
it's
competition.
but that's
a
the
lot of
thing
them.
is that it depends on who you're playing.
The competition was not great.
Sometimes, like when we went to Australia after my freshman year, we played legitimately 3 good pro teams and got the shit beat out of us. We went 2-3, I think.
Really?
And lost to the pro team in Cannes, lost to the pro team in Brisbane. And I think we lost a game to the Sydney Kings as well. Like we lost to the 3 good teams we played, but they had legit pros. Some of the competition, I don't think Purdue played great competition in their trip.
So how much stock do you put on in a Kentucky team?
I mean, I want to see teams shoot it well.
of course, it helps.
Like anybody, but I don't put stock into that.
Me either.
Because I just think that it's a small sample size against teams that aren't always good.
Right. So are you in on Kentucky? Are you how skeptical are you, or are you feeling pretty good about the fact that they've got the number 1 recruiting class in the country? Although Aaron Bradshaw is already who knows if he'll play, how much he'll play, when he'll be back. But they do have Reeves and Mitchell, so they have a couple veterans.
Yeah, shot making is going to be so important. And those freshmen, it sounds like they're ball dominant guards. I haven't seen them play a ton with DJ Wagner. I don't know. I think the jury's out. I mean, we're talking about this. Who knows? Who knows how this is going to mesh together? I am looking forward to seeing what Coach Cal can do with this group because there is talent, but I don't know how it's going to work with the shooting.
I want to see if they really actually embrace the small ball movement that they showed at the Global Jam, right? I don't think Cal's ever had a team that averaged.
Part of it was they don't have any bigs.
Well, yeah.
Like,
so
it
are
was
they gonna,
by default?
But is that going to be
So
something that he?
You have to
continues?
embrace it when you don't have any bigs.
He's never done that though.
But you don't have anybody there.
But
So,
he's never done that. It hasn't mattered. He's never done that.
Yeah, I mean, again, he played Trey Mitchell, but Bradshaw's hurt. The other big kid was hurt. When they come back, you're telling me Bradshaw's not going to play?
Is that a win or an if?
I love Bradshaw. I actually think he could be a difference maker. But if he's missing the whole preseason as a freshman, that's going to hurt. Again, my biggest thing is there's clearly pressure on John Calipari this year. Now, again, will they buy him out at $33 million if he doesn't make the tournament? I don't know if they'll buy him out.
Well, you don't think Kentucky's going to make the tournament?
I do.
You think?
No, I think they will. I think they will. But again, is it good enough going to what if they go to the tournament and they lose in the first round? They're a 2 seed, 3 seed, and they lose, and that's how many years since they've gotten past the first weekend? And he's making $10 million a year.
I think
that's a lot of money to pay a guy that's not doing anything consistently with a lot of talent at arguably the best program in the country. Eventually, fans are going to get some already are. There's a segment of fans that is going to stand behind Cal and their coach, and then there's a segment right now that's like, you know what? Like we've kind of had it at this point. Like we need something new.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when you talk about Coach Cal like that because if you'll get yelled at by a bunch of Kentucky fans.
Yes.
That are
Of course
like,
you will.
Coach Cal needs to get fired, and then those same Kentucky fans will be yelling at you because don't disrespect our program. And you can't find.
All I'll say is, like, I'm in New England now, and like people are legitimately right now calling for Bill Belichick to potentially be fired if they stink this year. Yeah. If they're not good, and I'm like,
what have you done
oh my God, like what are we doing?
Everyone knows
like,
Tom Brady was always the talent.
That's right.
In
I
New
mean,
England.
listen, I'm not a
Brady's
Belichick
show.
fan at all, but like that dude can retire whenever the hell he wants to retire.
Fun fact about Tom Brady. Do you know he never threw a ball longer than 60 yards? So Jeff Goodman has
could
a
throw it
better
further. Yeah,
arm
no
than Tom
question.
Brady.
The most interesting thing to me about Kentucky this year is going to be, do they run some things that look like modern college basketball?
I think it's going to be a lot of dribble drive.
So Memphis?
I mean, because he's got that type of player.
No, I
Now
hear
they
ya.
can shoot it again, they shot. I'm not going to say they can shoot it. They shot it a lot better
But
overseas.
they can shoot it. If you look at the guys that they have, Antonio Reeves, they're going to run stuff
he
for
can
him.
shoot it. He can shoot it. Who else?
Trey Mitchell can be a floor spacer.
I mean,
You
he
still got
was in
Reed Shepherd out there.
Canada, but he's not really. That's not his game. Is more mid range. It's not really generally shooting threes. He made a lot of them in Canada, and that was my question posed to Rob. Is like how much credit, how much stock are you putting in Trey Mitchell draining
I mean,
threes?
you would rather see him doing that than see him
Yes.
shooting air balls and bricks.
1,000%. But is it going to translate?
Until we see it in a legitimate college game
Right.
against good college competition, we don't know the answer to that
And
question.
it also depends on whether or not they're actually going to run stuff where he gets shots from out there.
And I thought at times last year they ran stuff that was just
They're
horrific for
running
their
the same
shooter.
shit that they were running in 2011.
Yeah.
The same sets. Nothing changes.
John
the
Welch.
difference is
John Welch. He's going to change the whole. No, I don't. know.
that's the plan, right?
I
The
mean,
difference
he's more
is that
player development.
they no longer have guys that you can just trust to go out there and win every single matchup.
Yeah.
John Wall's not there. Anthony Davis isn't there, right?
Yeah.
Well,
There's
that's
a-
the thing. This,
But even
this
around Anthony Davis,
recruiting
they had
class-
beasts. That
Yeah.
team in 2011 was loaded.
Correct. They had a great blend. Now, again, like Reeves gives them a chance because he gives them a veteran, maybe a leader, and an elite shooter.
Didn't you
who's
say he
proven.
was going somewhere else?
He was.
I don't
He wasn't
know.
taking classes
We
at
don't-
Illinois.
we don't know about
He
that.
wasn't taking classes at Illinois State.
We'll
just
never
'cause he
know.
liked
All
the
I
old
know is that
professors.
Goodman said that he was going elsewhere, and I'm looking at the roster, and Antonio Reeves is right here.
He is. He's still there. He's still
Can't-
there.
You can't trust Goodman.
So are you.
Can't another lie.
So are you.
Another
You're
lie.
still right
on
there.
transfer scoops or on times for interviews.
Yeah, no shit.
All right. Hummel, thanks for coming by.
I'm leaving.
This
I'm
was
not
really
coming back.
good. I'm glad you came by. You missed
I got to see
a hell
Clark.
of an interview with,
got to see
with Coach
Clark.
K.
Got to see Coach K. Safe
We're
travels.
gonna tell-
safe travels home, guys.
We're going to tell Kay later who you are.
That's fine.
Just so he knows it wasn't Taylor King.
All
All right. Thanks for joining us. Goodman and Hummel podcast with a special appearance by one Bobby D, Robert Dauster. We'll see you next week or next month with Hummel. Who knows?